Hi. What we were talking about in the last video, we're talking about words that can hurt and words that can heal. And what we were discussing in the last video was most people can't tell you what words they use 10 minutes after a conversation. And that's pretty serious, because we could be saying damaging words and not even realize what we've done or what we've said to anybody. So our first task here is that we're going to try to learn how to turn this around. And you can't change the way you talk, and you can't change your life if you don't pay attention. We have to pay attention to what we do. We can't just endlessly go. If we taught a child to walk without paying attention, they'd walk right in front of a car and be killed. So it's the same with our mouth. If we don't learn, which no one ever really teaches us, they'll teach us not to swear, and they teach us not to stick things in our mouth when we're babies, but no one really teaches us to listen to the words that we say to others. So I'm going to tell a little story, or just relate a little bit to my child, Alicia, who's 15, and talk to you a little bit about that. So for Alicia, I know what I want. I know what I want to do with her. And I want very much to communicate my love and concern for her, and to establish a climate of warmth between her and I, and encouragement. And even while I'm sometimes setting limits or correcting her behavior and challenging her to make mature decisions for herself, I still want to keep the communication open. I don't want to do anything that's going to break that down. Now, I didn't say I don't do anything, because I do. Believe me, I have as many problems, maybe more than you do, with talking and saying the wrong things. But I try to work on it every day. To some degree, every conversation between us, like Alicia and I, even like, hi, how was your sleep, in the morning contributes to my success of my goals for that day for her. And if I set a grumpy, uncommunicating tone to my voice and words that come out first thing in the morning, it's going to flavor the whole day. It's going to flavor the day for her. It's going to flavor the day for me, all those around us, the kids in her school, the kids that see her after school, people who see me and talk to me during the day. It all depends on how you speak and what you say. On the other hand, if I make our meeting first thing in the morning a small but distinct pleasure, I can build a foundation for good communication that day. I know sometimes when I go to wake her up, I'll go, Alicia, you only have so much time to get ready. Hurry up, get up, get up, get up out of bed. And then I hear her say to me, Mommy, you didn't even say good morning. So you see, she's quite aware of it. So then sometimes I go back there and I stop myself. And that's what I'll say. I'll say, wait a minute, I don't want to start this day off wrong for her. So I'll just go, Alicia, good morning, sweetheart. And then I'll say, how was your night, or whatever. And then I might say, now listen, we only have so long to get ready. And I try to start it out in a good way. So I need to evaluate all my conversation with her. It's not easy. And the heavy conversations, and even the little light ones, the trivial things that we say, they're all significant. I need to evaluate even the silences. I know we're talking about words right now, but silence speaks. When we sometimes are driving somewhere, I'm taking her somewhere, there might be a lot of quiet between us. Now, that's not all the time, because she loves to talk, and so do I. But sometimes I welcome that silence, and because conversation sometimes is a bit hard, especially with a teenager. You try to say something and it sets them off, you're saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. When I try to get a conversation going, I might ask some questions. But sometimes that's going to irritate her. So I need to ask myself, is this fruitful silence? I need to give her some space. I need to evaluate. Where is that balance between giving space and making contact? How can I start a conversation without seeming to just pry into her life? When I really think about it, it's complicated knowing how to talk with a teenage daughter. But then I could say that same thing for everybody I talk to. Every person in life. I could say the same thing. Well, it's difficult. But you know, we're better off to start to take into evaluation what we do and what we say to people so that we don't hurt any more people and so that we don't get hurt in return. We need to take inventory of our words, and that's kind of what I'd like you to do at this early part of these sessions, is to get yourself a notebook or a small pad, and the next couple people that you have some pretty heavy conversations with, be it good or bad, try to think about where were you, what was it you were talking about, and what did you say to that person. You might have said one thing that could have been said differently that wouldn't have set it off in a bad way. Or you might have said something really awesome and it made the conversation end really well. I'd like you to think about that. Take a couple of people and over the next day or so and just jot those things down. And that's going to help you as we're moving along in these sessions. Think about how you felt with the conversation and what was the purpose of the conversation. Was it just small talk? Or were you trying to get a point across to somebody? Just put it down, and then we'll be able to relate back to that later on. We need to start listening to ourselves, but listening to ourselves can become a really big shock. Many people are appalled when they first start to listen to their own conversation. Sometimes you're appalled by your harsh words that you said without even thinking. Sometimes they're sickened by the gossip or your insincerity. You'd be surprised. Sometimes I'm talking to somebody, especially being in ministry, and next thing you know, you're gossiping. And you really don't want to be doing that. And you got to try to stop yourself, because it's easy to fall into. With all the messages that we need to give each other, messages of love and compassion, sometimes warning things, most people manage to spend their words on things they don't care about at all. It's just small chit-chat. But sometimes in those small conversations, you're saying really negative things. So confronting your words is not going to be comfortable, unfortunately, but there are some ways to discount the realities of them. And I have some things written down here. A few of the ways to take a look at the way we communicate. Things like saying, I didn't mean it. You may found that you made some severe comments to your spouse, maybe. Maybe something like, you're just like your mother, or you're just like your father. You said, or maybe you even said, every time I turn around, you've got a list of things you want me to do, and I'm sick of it. I didn't mean that, you say now. I was just blowing off steam. I was just mad. It was a bad morning. The trouble is with that, is that you did mean it. Jesus said the good man brings things out of the good stored up in his heart, and the evil man brings evil things out of the evil that's stored up in his heart. For out of the overflow of his heart, his mouth speaks. Heavy duty, huh? Luke 6:45. So to face your own harsh words is to confront the overflow of your anger and sometimes self-righteousness in yourself. So long as you discount these words, you can't get to the root of them. And the anger will almost certainly continue to overflow until you do. That was just talk. People try to shoo away their words like flies at the dinner table. You guys had flies a lot lately. I know we have, and it's frustrating. You're always trying to push them away. Words don't amount to anything, people will say. Watch what I do, not what I say. If that's true, why is it that couples getting a divorce so often remember what their partner said? Why do so many people come into counseling sessions remembering horrifying clarity a comment that their parent made 20 or 30 or sometimes 40 years ago? Words do matter. It's with words, principally, that we build or destroy relationships. Often it's the throwaway words, the casual passing remarks, that bury ourselves deep into another person's heart. And those words are going to bury you really well, or they're going to bury you in such a negative form that that person is going to have a hard time having a relationship with you.